What's up, talkers and listeners? This is Mike Huante with Huante Talk, and today I want to talk about The Mandalorian Episode 1, The Marshal. Now, I know this video is a little late, and I really wanted to show off this shirt because it's Baby Yoda, the child. But face it, we're all calling it Baby Yoda. But there he is with his jack-o'-lanterns. A little late. Wanted to do this on Halloween, but then I thought, let's talk spoilers. Let's talk about stuff that we saw. And so here we are. So we've been waiting for this for a very long time, and right out the gate, we just jump right into the episode, and we see Din Djarin and the child going to a fight. And there, they are going to meet Gor Koresh, who is actually played by John Leguizamo, which was actually an awesome surprise, because even when you hear the character, there was no way you would tell it was John Leguizamo until they put it in the credits, and then John Leguizamo acknowledged it later. So that was a really cool thing to see. And that kind of tells us that we're going to get a lot of cameos from different people, different actors, just like we did on the first season. So I'm excited to see all the other secret cameos kind of pop up later on throughout the season. One of the first things I noticed was the graffiti in the town that Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, aka Mando, and the child were walking through. And the graffiti reminds me a lot of Sabine's work from Rebels. And it may not be her work per se, but in the art, I feel like I saw a couple of characters, specifically droids, one of them being C-3PO. So I thought that was kind of interesting to see in the background. One of the other cool things was seeing Gamorrean guards go at it. So you can see that the Gamorreans are basically just slaves, in all honesty. So they're just, used for fights, used as bodyguards, and they're really just pigs to the slaughter. One of the first pieces of news that we had received before the season even started was that Timothy Olyphant was going to make a cameo in one of the episodes. So I didn't know that he was actually going to just come right out the gate into the first episode. And he is the Marshal. And at first, watching the episode, I was concerned because we saw Boba Fett's armor on Timothy Olyphant. And he goes and explains that he actually bartered with the Jawas and got Boba Fett's armor, which leads us to believe that the Jawas went to the Sarlacc pit, found the remains of the Mandalorian armor, and took it to barter with. And that's how Timothy Olyphant's character ended up getting it. So I was very concerned that we were never going to see Boba Fett, because maybe this is what they were hinting at. This is the armor, here you go, that's all the Boba Fett you're going to get. That was a concern. But as we all know, our concerns were calmed down a little bit later. The other nice little callback that I don't know if you noticed, but it was kind of obvious, it was kind of in your face, was that Timothy Olyphant had his own speeder bike, and it was made from the engine of a pod racer. So I thought that was really cool too. Who knows whose pod racer it was? Could have been Sebulba's. Who knows? But pod racing was big on Tatooine, so it makes sense that the parts were used to make other things, like a speeder bike. One of the cooler things is how many callbacks we get, because Din Djarin, Mando, has to go back to Tatooine because he's in search of another Mandalorian, someone that can help him find the people that the child belongs to, whether that be something of his same species or Jedi, because he is Force sensitive. Two big things happen that call back to A New Hope. The first one is that R5-D4 is still alive. It didn't blow its head off in Episode 4, A New Hope. It actually was repaired, survived, and is now one of the service technicians. So it was really cool seeing R5 come up. So that was pretty awesome. And they kind of acknowledged that it's just a bucket of bolts that's kind of just getting by. So seeing that it's still around kind of just warmed my heart. And one of the biggest things was that they have finally shown us what the Krayt Dragon looks like. And if you don't know what that is, if we go back again to Episode 4, A New Hope, when R2-D2 and C-3PO crash land, there's these huge bones just laid out in the middle of the desert. And it's like, what kind of monster is that? It's so huge and then in the middle of the desert, just bones. And I was thinking about Robot Chicken when they kind of talked about the dragon, and he was like, I'm going to leave this lake and I'm going to go find this big, beautiful earth so long, and he takes off and then he just dies in the desert. That was the closest thing we had to seeing what a krayt dragon was. And now they showed us what it is, and it uses the desert like a sea, and it's just this huge monster, and it feels like there's only one of them at a time because everyone in this small town, they're afraid of it. So they're trying to find out, how do we get rid of this thing? And that's when Mando comes in. So Din Djarin shows up with the child and talks with Timothy Olyphant's character, and they make a deal. He sees that he's wearing Boba Fett's armor. Doesn't know it's Boba Fett in particular, but it is of his people. So he says, they strike a deal. Help me kill the krayt dragon, get the armor. And that's pretty much what all of Season 1 was, and probably what a lot of Season 2 is going to be, is a lot of bartering, a lot of deals being struck to help him on his quest. And another great thing is that they brought back the Tuscan Raiders, and the fact that they had to work together with the people to kill the krayt dragon. It was interesting to see because you get a lot softer, gentler side, and you get to see the side of the Tuscan Raiders. They're not just these monsters. We've always gotten this perspective from another angle in the movies that these guys were dangerous and evil, and they killed Darth Vader's mom. So, we just always saw the bad side. But then we see a different side where they feel like they've been oppressed by everyone else because they don't have the resources everyone else does, so they have to make do with what they have, and that's why they're so savage. So we get that kind of side of it, and it's awesome seeing all of them work together to try and kill the krayt dragon, which at the end they successfully do, so it's really awesome. I don't think it's that big a deal, but the child was kind of pushed aside. We get its cuteness, and he's traveling with Mando, but nothing really specific happens with the child. He's just there. So the story really doesn't focus on the child. It's Din Djarin's journey. That was hard to say. But it's his journey. And his journey to try and get the child to his species. So it's okay. I know we're going to get a lot more of the child later on. And so nothing to worry about. But the biggest moment was when it is finally revealed that there's this mysterious figure watching Din Djarin drive away in the sunset after being the hero. And who is it? It's Boba Fett. Boba Fett! Boba Fett is alive. That is awesome. And that's what kind of gave me peace at the end of the episode, because I was worried that all we were going to get was his armor. And we actually get to see Boba Fett. So he's there watching over Din Djarin take his armor away. So we can expect to see Boba Fett get in a confrontation with Din Djarin over the armor. So who knows if maybe he even knows who Boba Fett is. Maybe everyone just thinks he's dead. Who knows. But I'm excited to see where the next episode's going to take us. I'm Mike Huante. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's have a conversation. Let's talk more about movies. Let's talk more about TV. And just drop a like, drop a dislike, whatever you feel. Comment below. Let me know what you thought as well. I'm Mike Huante. That's a wrap.